Hey, what's going on? This is Ron Menchaca, and you know what this is. This is Menchaca Channel. And guess who this guest is? Maybe we might know who she is. I don't know. What's up, Addi? What's going on?
So glad to be back on Menchaca Channel. It's been a while.
Yeah, well, we got an amazing topic today, and we're going to talk about practicing power talk. Now, we don't usually talk about that kind of stuff, but you have to have the right energy behind you to talk the power talk. And what are we even talking about when we say that?
Talking about speaking words that are beneficial in your life and things that God is saying that's true about you, not things of the world.
So maybe positive, maybe keeping it positive and all that, because I do know that even the Bible says that in Proverbs 18:21 that the power of life and death is in the tongue, right?
Tongue, yeah.
And so if you're a negative kind of person, how's that power talk gonna work out for you?
I mean, there's also a verse about calling those things that are not as if they were. So gotta make sure that you're speaking the right things over your life.
All right.
Your words are powerful.
So speaking of that, I think that if I have in my heart positivity and I want the good for humanity, I want the good for my family, I want the good for my life, and I want to go in a direction of like experiencing greatness and experiencing the good stuff, I think power talk is going to be key to that.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes the most interesting conversations I'll have is within myself. You know, sometimes I get in these situations and I gotta just begin to motivate myself and say, hey, you're created for this. You can do it. You got what it takes to speak to this people. You got what it takes to figure this thing out. God's placed greatness on the inside. And then that power talk right there, it just starts to come out. And I don't know if you've ever had to do that to yourself.
Oh yeah, like hyping yourself up.
Exactly. And so once we're talking about this power talk, there's a positive and there's a negative. And I know people in my life that just, man, they're so negative that they use that power talk. Like you can say, hey, I love that new car that you got. That's a pretty awesome car. Well, actually, that's not the one I wanted. It's the one they had on the lot. And so I guess I just took it from there. It didn't have the package I wanted, and it was high in mileage. It's not what I wanted. And I'm like, dude, you got something to take you from A to B, man, and it's got AC. Come on now.
Oh, isn't that nice?
So check this out. I want to read something for you. Hopefully this is not weird, but practice power talk. So what I want to read, it says, start saying what God says about your life. Words create pictures in your mind. Those pictures decide what you believe. Power talk is simply speaking words that produce a desired result in yourself and others. Your words decide divine events in your life. And then it goes on to say the scripture that Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit of it. They that love it shall eat the fruit of it. That's telling me that if I love negativity, I'm speaking death. And if I'm speaking death, then everything around me is going to die. But if I speak positivity, guess what? Things are going to grow. They're going to become life. What do you think about that?
Man, while you were talking, I just could not help but think about the verse that says that, like, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Wow.
So
yeah.
Out of that, I kind of the Holy Spirit reminded me that, it's what you are meditating on every day. It's the things that's within that's going to come out. So that's why it's so important to get into your word and to like meditate on those truths, because then that's what's going to be in your heart and in your spirit, and that's eventually what's going to come out of your mouth, which leads us to what we're saying right now is your words are powerful. And if you want to get in the habit of speaking powerful words and like, you know, speaking truth over your life and positive things, then you have to fill yourself with those things.
Practicing power talk. You know, you just can't just say a thing. You know, I believe that God created us so great that he instilled in us his likeness, his image. I believe that he wants us to operate the way he does. He's God Almighty, so he is number one, right? But he created us to operate just like him. And if we operate like him, then we're going to say things and they're going to become just like in the beginning, God said. You know, and it's an amazing truth, because as she was saying, the scriptures are calling those things that are not as if they were. You're actually going to call things into existence. And then also, you shall decree a thing and it shall be established. You know, that's an amazing truth, because if you don't have it and you don't see it, call it into existence. That's how powerful you are. But the question is, what are you calling into existence? Is it something positive or is it something negative? Are you wishing the best for someone, or are you jealous because of what they have? Come on now, you got to get busy in this practicing of the power talk, because every word that comes out of our mouth is producing something. And if that thing is producing something, what is it producing? Well, look at your life. Where is your life at? Where are your goals and your dreams and your ambitions, and how do you carry yourself? You know, I know people in my life that when I tell them, hey, you did a great job. Me? Are you serious?
I don't believe it.
Come on, man. I don't know if you know anybody like that, but you know, I get amazed, because I'm like, dude, God created greatness in you. You got some awesome things, but you just don't believe it for yourself. Maybe you need to have a motivational conversation with yourself and kind of look at what God created. Because I don't know about you, Addi, but God doesn't make junk.
Yeah.
He doesn't make junk. And so
That's
I know
true.
that you have a lot of wisdom.
From the beginning, God created
you.
heaven and the earth, and he called it good. He made us and he called it good.
So what do you think about this concept of, pictures in your mind? Power talk creates pictures in your mind. And those pictures decide what you believe. I think it has to do with how we were raised. The culture of how we were raised. Maybe your parents, you that are listening to me, maybe your parents were people who talked down on you and said that you were going to never amount to anything. You were going to never become what you had dreamed. Because as children, man, we cannot paralyze their imagination, because you get a kid and he's going to tell you, you ask him one question, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a firefighter. I want to be the president. I want to be
Literally
and they got
anything.
some amazing things.
They don't have any limits at that point. They're like,
No limits.
Astronaut, that's me.
Man, I'm telling you. And we as dream killers and we as trying to cripple them from anything. What's wrong with you? A firefighter? No, none of our family members are there. We didn't even graduate. We didn't do this or that. Come on, man. And you talk negative to him, guess what? He's going to grow up as a negative-minded person. And when he doesn't get what he wants to work for in life, because people have been telling him all the negative stuff, guess what? He's going to believe the negativity, and everything out of his mouth from that point on in his life is going to be negative. What do you think?
I think it definitely has a lot to do with influence too. The people you surround yourself definitely make an impact on what you think and what you believe.
What do you wait? You're trying to say that the people that you have in your inner circle are able to influence you in a positive way or a negative way?
Yep.
So we have to be careful of who we have in our inner circle. Choose wisely. Wow, that's a good thing to know, because here on Menchaca Channel, we talk about the inner circle all the time.
Yeah,
who do you have surrounding you? And it matters, because if you have people who are just man, just straight up fools, guess what? You're the next one. But if you got intelligent people who are wanting to lift you up and care enough to tell you the wrong that you're doing so you can straighten out, guess what? You're going to be the next intelligent person. And that power talk that we're talking about, it creates images in your mind, and you believe that you can create that, and then you can go off and do it, and you're successful. You know, you got to take it one step at a time. And I don't know, man, I say this because it's the title of this is just practice power talk. It's not one time and done, you know. You got to practice it, because not all the time things are going to work out. You might say a thing and it takes long before you get to that point. But then if you practice it over and over and over, just think of seeds, words being seeds, right? When you plant a seed in the ground, in the dirt, and you water it and all that, does it grow the next day?
Nope.
No, it doesn't grow the next day. It takes time. It takes ingredients, right? The soil has to be rich. The watering of it has to happen. Sunlight has to come and shine upon that thing. Well, just think of our lives. We're throwing out seeds with our words. And I guarantee you, if you're saying negative things, guess what? There's an enemy that wants to come water that. And guess what? Eventually you'll reap what you sow. So what do you think? Are we on to something here?
That's true. That's very true. All of what you said, I mean, the inner circle, starting from that, the people you surround yourself with, what you're filling your cup with, everything regarding that. Even, it can be anything. Podcasts you listen to, people you're surrounded by, the things you read and see, that all influences your mind and your body and your spirit. So
it's almost like you're saying garbage in.
Yeah, for
garbage
real.
Out. Man. Wow. It's important to note that, you know, in the scriptures it says that it's life and death, your tongue. You have the ability of shifting an atmosphere with your mouth and the words that are coming out of your mouth. You know what's amazing is that you can't separate the heart and the mouth. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so whatever's in your heart is going to come out of that mouth. So if you have a negative heart, you're going to speak negative. If you are truly want to be positive and you have that in your heart and that's what you want to do, guess what's going to come out of your mouth? Nothing but positivity. I think Addi was on to something about influence as well, because we are influencing on the daily, sometimes negative, because you're with that coworker, you're with that person that looks at everything grim and dark and they don't see the light of day and it's just terrible. And then you get those other ones that, man, it's just an attraction because they're so positive. How you doing today? Hey, even though it's raining outside, it's going to be a good day. Even though it's hot and it feels like an oven as soon as you get out, guess what? God is God is shining on those plants and they're going to grow and this and that. Man, it's an amazing thing to be around people that power talk.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It makes a difference in the world and in your own life.
Your words decide divine events in your life. Wow, that right there is powerful in itself. You're telling me that my words can take me to new levels?
Ooh.
You're telling me that my words can actually navigate my life to better positions?
You want to elaborate on that?
I'm just saying, you know, when we talk, but what are we saying? Are we looking forward and we're blessing our families, blessing the church, blessing the people around us? That coworker that you got a problem with, are you praying for them? Are you saying good things about them? You know, they'll find their way. They'll get mature. They'll get to a point, but don't give up on them. You know, because it's amazing. Your words decide divine events in your life. I've been connected with people, extraordinary people, that I've asked them to become mentors in my life because they've gone through thick and thin and they've made the mistakes in life and they're on the other side of it because of their words, their power talk. You know, they said something, it didn't work out, it didn't, and they reap what they sowed, and they learn from that experience. And once they learn from that experience, guess what? You are connected divine events in your life, and I guarantee you it's going to help you so much in your life. My goodness. What do you think? Come on.
So good. I mean, that's all I had so far. That was really good.
Yeah. So practice power talk. That's where it's at. If you start to practice, and positive, please keep it positive. You know, I know growing up in our household, it wasn't always positive all the time. And my dad was an evangelist, my mom, church all my life, you know, and it was always positive in that regards. But then trials and tribulations come, and the way you view things, the way you see things matter. And then at that moment, because you have that image of what happened, then words start flying. Mm-hmm. And we see this in families today, that they can go from 0 to 100 just in how they carry themselves. And so if we were able to control our mouths and check our hearts, then we're going to have this power talk that's going to be beneficial to everyone around us. I think we can sum it up by saying that, you know, it is so true that death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it shall reap its benefit, the fruit of it. And so just saying that everybody wants the best, right? We want the fruit, but we don't want to work for it to get there. And I'm telling you, if you correct the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you operate, things are going to change. Any last words?
Man, that was really good. The only thing I had left to say is probably that, you know, believing those truths about what God says about you is so important, because you can get to a place where you're like, okay, but how do I replace these thoughts with thoughts that are, you know, beneficial, or things? How do you get to that point where you speak life, or you're speaking the right things? And honestly, I think it's in the word. Reading what God said is true about you, reading you know, what God, because those are God's words, those are what he says is true, and it is what it is. That's literally what it is. So if you get into that and you read that, there's like so much clarity in that, and then there's a lot of peace, and you'll find all the fruits of the Spirit in that. And just speaking those truths over your life, and meditating on those truths, I think that's the most powerful thing you can do.
Influence. What's influencing your life? Are you grabbing the word? Are you reading it? What you're reading, is it positive or is it negative? Is it fictional, or is it actually something that's solid and truthful? Mentors, people that you hang around, is it something that is beneficial, or are you hanging around with fools and just telling you know, you catch up with them later on in your life and they saying the same jokes and same things, and they haven't progressed in life? Come on, you got to drop the dead weight and you got to move forward. It's okay to move on. It's all right. And so we are managing our lives, we are managing our speech, and we're getting better at it. You know, no one's perfect, but if you just practice power talk, it's going to make a world of difference to not only yourself, but everyone around you, your inner circle, your family, everything. And so sometimes we don't pay attention to this, and we say ignorant things all the time. Well, whatever we focus on is going to grow. And so I'm telling you with all my heart, and I know Addi's with me on this, just keep it positive and start to practice that power talk, whether it's from within and you have to talk to yourself, whether you're getting it out of the word and you find out, hey, what I just said was death. It was not life. Let me correct this. And I'll start to speak life into things. Breathe it. I mean, just as soon as you say that word, calling those things that are not as if they were. You shall decree a thing and it shall be established. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what's in your heart? How are you practicing this power talk? Is it good? Is it negative? What is it? Is it beneficial to people, or is it pushing them down and holding the foot on the neck and not letting them excel? There is room for everyone to be leaders. I'm telling you. And that's a misconception that we have in life, is that, hey, not everybody was meant to be a leader. Well, not everybody is mature enough to understand that they can be a leader. God created some greatness on the inside. Any last words?
The last thing I was gonna say,
yeah,
about influence again is that because you were also talking about like being a leader and like how, but I was thinking like, man, sometimes you need an example to look to. You need someone to follow in a way. So whether that's like, of course you follow what's in the Bible and what's in there, because that's all truth and all that, but also having like, whether it's, I know in my own experience it's like been like the people that I surround myself with, and then also things that I watch, like on whether it's listening to podcasts or watching on YouTube. There's people that I see as like mentors or leaders in my life because they are living out the biblical truth, and they are speaking those things, and I kind of see that as like, man, that's something I want to do. So consistently like watching that and seeing how they're growing with the Lord and like how they're being an example, shows me how I can do that as well. And it helps build my confidence, and I can speak these truths over my life and stuff like that, because it doesn't come naturally, I feel like, to anyone if you don't have that example.
It's the other side of the coin. She just told you the other side, how people have influenced her life, how people have, and she's watching them, and she's seeing the goodness of God in their lives, and she desires that for her life. So just like we said, you hang around idiots, you'll be the next one. If you hang around with godly, fearing people that want the best for you, you'll be the next one, and you'll help someone else in life. So power talk, practice power talk on the daily. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Menchaca Channel, where inspiration, motivation, and kingdom principles is what we do. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and what else?
Ring
that bell so that you can get another episode of Menchaca Channel. And for all of you who are supporting Menchaca Channel, we appreciate you doing what you do so that we can do what we do. Power talk. You got to practice that on the daily. But guess what? Keep it positive, because it's going to go far with you. Woo! Until next time. You thought I was going to forget, right?
I was going to say it.